Meet Dave. A few years ago, he was working at Chick-fil-A, and now he's making over $20,000 profit a month selling name brand products on Amazon. And in this video, we're going to walk through how he found the business model, how he got started, why selling on Amazon specifically, and his secret sauce on how he scaled his business to the moon fast. We got the man Dave Trades on the channel today. What's up, dude? How you doing?
I'm good. How are you, man?
So I was seeing all your posts on Twitter, those big, beautiful orange bars. Tell everyone what you did so far in quarter 1 and year to date.
Yeah, quarter 1, we did well. I did 70,000, but after bills and everything, it came out to like 60,000 or something like that.
And that's profit, right? So it's probably about $250,000 in revenue for the first 3 months of the year.
Right, yeah.
So pretty cool. Now I know a couple years ago you were working at Chick-fil-A, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
stuff can change pretty quickly. What made you actually want to get into selling on Amazon?
Well, I had some experience with drop shipping before. I was drop shipping on Facebook for a while. That's how I initially grew my capital. Um, well, I'll go into it deeper than that. So I started off drop shipping on Facebook Marketplace. Grew my capital. I think at the peak, it was me and my brothers. We were doing maybe like 10K profit a month at the peak. Eventually, Facebook shut that down. They blocked their IPs because we had like a crazy operation going with like VAs from the Philippines.
I remember you telling me that.
Like 10 VAs from the Philippines logging in on different Facebook accounts. But they eventually shut that down. So we took that capital and tried to like go into the big boy game of trucking, right? Because we thought, hey, we're so great. We can take all this money that we built and we could take it into trucking, because our thought about trucking was, okay, I mean, how hard can it be, right? I mean, we're very optimistic. You take money, you hire drivers, you get a truck, you get a trailer, you run the trailer, you make money. That's what we thought. We were wrong by a long shot, because we got into trucking probably in the worst time economically, right? The freights weren't that good. They didn't pay that well. Gas was like really expensive. We were paying like $4,500 insurance on one truck, which was pretty bad. So eventually, after like 3 or 4 months, we were like, okay, this is not going to work out in the long run. We need to cut our losses as fast as possible. So we did that. And then we were like, okay, what do we do now? Because trucking took like 80% of our capital from drop shipping, right? So from there, I think we went into trying different business ventures. Like I think we went pretty big into like carrier companies. So like we went around basically hitting up different driving companies. Basically, it's like DoorDash almost, but these people deliver like medical supplies or something like that. So we went heavy into that. We drove for them for a while, and then once we got like kind of like in with like the higher ups, we were basically just like, hey, we don't want to drive. We want to run this thing. Like, give us a region where we can manage different drivers, and we kind of took the responsibility of that. So that's how we made another source of income without actually having to work. So we built some capital up with that, and then we just saw Amazon. I saw your videos online. I also had a buddy who was doing Amazon as well. So I was like, this is kind of like what we did before with drop shipping, because that's what got us started anyway. Like we were familiar with that. We were good at it. And we were just like, okay, I mean, why not try it out? And that's how I got started with Amazon.
Yeah, it's interesting because there's such a high translation between people who did like sneaker reselling when they were a teenager or young adult, and like Facebook Marketplace drop shipping or eBay and everything.
Right.
And Amazon's kind of like the bigger version of that, that's scalable, that can be a real business if you put the work in and everything. So when was that you actually started off specifically on Amazon?
This was last year, around just before September, so like late August, yeah.
Damn, a bunch of legends came out of that era, man. That was right when Aaron got started. Parker.
Yeah. I started last year.
Crazy, man. Yeah, right. And you just slowly grow it up over time and such, right? When did you get your first sale?
I got my first sale pretty quickly. So I took a different route when it came to Amazon. So what I did was I tried to exploit VAs because I thought that was the bright idea. So what I did was I tried to hire VAs. I basically posted something on online jobs. I was basically just like, hey, I have some capital that I want to invest into this. And I knew no knowledge about Amazon, which is a red flag, right? I didn't know how to source. I wasn't a master at my craft. I was just gonna hire VAs to do all the work for me and basically learn as the train starts moving. Big mistake. Obviously, I learned from that. But I got my first sale pretty quickly. I hired them. I probably got my sale within maybe a day or so.
Oh, so you were getting stuff FBM up quick then.
Yeah.
That's super smart. And the cool thing is Dave's in New Jersey. So any of you guys who are really coastally located, East Coast, West Coast, naturally you're going to get more buy box share just because your products are either going to be located, if you're FBMing, closer to the customers, or they're going to be at an FBA center close to the customer. So if you're coastal, you have an advantage with FBM in general too. And what would you say was like the big moment where you're like, holy crap, like this really works? I assume it was probably in December or January once you started hitting those big months.
I think it was around after I joined the program actually. Because before then, like I said, I want to touch on what I did before then too, because I made the mistake of hiring those VAs and I lost a couple thousand dollars. But then after that, I was just like, okay. I mean, I didn't really see Amazon working, but then I joined your group. I started networking with a lot of people, and that's one of the most important things because I probably wouldn't be here if I didn't network. So I started reaching out to the Parkers, the Aarons. I went inside of your chat. I reached out to literally everyone. They were inviting me into different groups, and I was learning. And then from there, I learned how to source. I learned how to analyze products, and then it kind of took off from there. So
want to let you guys know that if you want the exact same help and assistance Dave got, now is a perfect time to apply for my coaching program at the link in the description. If you're interested in direct one-on-one personal access to me, 3 group coaching calls per week, a one-on-one live sourcing call with myself, all my coupons, tips, tricks, and sourcing strategies I don't share anywhere else, and you want to be around other sellers that are working to crush the game, hit the link in the description right now. Go ahead and fill out the application for my coaching program, and I'll have you ready to roll for back to school in Q4 later this year. Check that out if you're interested, and back to the interview with Dave.
Heading into December, I think, to be honest with you, I think I would have had a bigger December had I did all that prior.
Oh, of course.
I kind of did it too late, but it was still better than nothing because those connections helped me buy a ton of stuff. I learned a ton, and then from there, heading into January, I was like, okay, I can kind of run this up if I just keep looping the same things over. It's basically buying product, you sell it for a profit. That's basically the bottom line. And once I realized it was that simple, I was just like, okay, we can run this up.
Yeah, it's interesting because like the more numbers someone does on Amazon, the less complicated they make it seem because it comes natural to them once you build a skill. But you got to go ahead and build a skill. It's like the meme of like the guy who's, like really slow, the guy who's really smart, and then the guy in the middle. The guy who's slow is like, I buy and sell products. The guy at the top's like, I buy and sell products. And then the guy in the middle, all this weird
complicated. Yeah, all these weird systems, yeah.
Right? And then you look at the people who are doing the most with online arbitrage, they got a few core websites. They hammer them. They know when the deals are going on. They got a couple friends they do it with. Can you talk more about the community side of things? Because that, I think, is by far the most underexploited edge by sellers, because I can typically see how successful someone's going to be based on the other sellers they talk to on a day-to-day basis. Can you dig in further on how that's been helpful for you?
Yeah, so I'm actually my prime group. Shout out Todd, shout out Tim, Elvinus. But those are my 3 guys that I've currently been working with for the past 3-4 months or so. But it's very important to have a group because they just help you spend money. There's days I don't source anything or I can't find anything, and I'll look in the group and it's just like they'll help me spend, a couple $1,000s, whatever it may be, vice versa. There's things that may come out that I might not see, and they'll ping it in the chat like, hey, this happened with Amazon. Hey, new fees here. It's just overall great to have because it's kind of just like it makes it fun because you have other guys that you're doing this with.
Big thing.
2, it makes it less stressful because you can kind of share the same problems together. And with that too, you can kind of grow together because it's 4 of you guys all experiencing different things at different times. So you can kind of come together and like spread the knowledge, spread mistakes. So the others don't make the same mistakes. So it's very important to get in a group, especially if you're trying to do online arbitrage.
Of course, bro. And the cool thing is that part's free, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, bro, getting around other sellers, man. Like, I know you and I met on Twitter, and you were seeing my stuff or YouTube
right.
or whatever, right? And that's what we're doing now is we're trying to, build leverage and bring people to us, bring people into our ecosystem because that provides opportunity for us, right? Selfishly too. Hopefully provide some value along the way too. Can you dig into some of the challenges you ran into when scaling quick, whether it's like cash flow issues, finding enough products? Like, what were the hard parts about the journey thus far?
Yeah, I mean, I guess the one of the hardest parts, well, it's not really hard. I mean, if you have all your invoices, so like in the beginning, I wasn't really organized. So let's just say, for example, if I got an IP or whatever, I'd have to go scrambling for invoices and everything or whatnot. I guess another difficulty I had in the beginning was not understanding or not mastering my craft. I think that really slowed me down just because I couldn't spend money like I would have loved to. I was hesitant on some buys. I just wish I just locked myself in a room because it doesn't take long to learn how to source. It just takes some effort. It could take you like a day, just some hard effort. You sit there at the computer and you just put in the work, and you'll learn how to source in a day. Obviously, as time goes on, more experience, you'll know. You could just click through different ASINs, and you could tell whether it's a buy or not within maybe like 15 seconds. But I think those two were like my top two difficulties when it came to scaling. Just
Yeah, and the main thing, yeah, really the only problems you can have, right? It's the Amazon side of things, right? And then capital and then cash flow as well. You were lucky, so was I. We had other stuff going on prior to doing Amazon, which gave us
right,
kind of the trust in online business. Well, I think that's
right,
a huge thing, man. Right? Both trusting the business model and trusting yourself that you can actually do it. Right. And
right.
that's the cool thing, man, is once you start hanging out with more Amazon sellers, you're like, all right, like these are the type of dudes I would have been friends with in high school or
Yeah,
whatever. You know what I mean? Right now, they might live 10 states away or on the other side of the country, but the cool thing is in the modern era, right? We can just sit
yeah.
here on
Actually,
Zoom and talk
yeah,
video calls.
it's insane how that works. Like people underestimate the power of the internet. Like some of the best leads or some of the best I guess ASINs that I've had came from someone across the country. They didn't know me, I didn't know them. We just kind of like, hey, you're young, I'm young, we're both doing this. Let's work together.
Yeah,
So
and the key there is right what someone immediately does, right? Say you ask me a question, like just anyone watching this on Twitter, right? The first thing I do is click your profile. And in your case, if someone goes to your profile, they can clearly see that you live this life.
right.
Therefore, you get a better answer than most people do. For whether right or wrong, that's just kind of
Mhm.
the way it is and such, right? So when you're in the mix, like so much opportunity gets to find you and such. So obviously started out doing online arbitrage primarily. What's the plan for the next couple of years? Are you gonna stick with OA, do some wholesale stuff too? What you got going on with that?
Yeah, so I'm actually in the middle of like trying to launch maybe in the next 2 to 3 months, maybe launch my first private label product.
Ooh,
I
I didn't
think,
even know about that, but you should have let us know on the timeline, dude.
yeah. I mean, I posted about it a couple, maybe a month ago, but
But hey, volume, baby. You know what I mean? Uncle
yeah, I
Fliss might
got
not see it.
you.
Same thing
Yeah.
over and over again.
Yeah, so that's what I've been working on right now. Just for longevity, I noticed like Amazon is, I don't know what changes they're making, but they are knocking down on like sellers, and you can still do away, right? But I just think like long term for me personally, I think I want to establish some brands. That way, I can kind of like stay away from Amazon's bad side because brands could strike IPs on you for no given reason, right?
Yep, I absolutely could. Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
So I've had IPs where the keep it chart wouldn't even show IP alerts or anything like that. So I just think for me, long term, it's better if I just establish some brands. I'm still going to be selling OA in the hot seasons like Q4 back to school. But that's my plan for the next like 2 to 3 months.
Yeah, and that's the problem, man, is so many people try to go into private label and wholesale from day one when they don't already know how it works. They might not
Right.
have a bunch of cash or war chest ready to roll. They already trust the model. You did it the perfect way, right? Where you're good at OA. Now, perpetually, every year, there's going to be products you can go ahead and buy. You
Right.
can't unsee some of the deals. You can't unsee some of the wealth that they
Exactly.
grab. Now you can take some more shots because you got skills, which is a great backup plan, and cash, which is a similarly good backup plan, having both of those as well, right, too,
Exactly.
which is pretty neat. So if you could go back, let's say 6, 7, 8 months, right, to when you were getting started, what would you tell yourself as a beginner that would have helped you move a lot quicker?
Um, I think if I would have went back 6, 7 months, I would have said, okay, get on Twitter, network, get on social media, network, put your face out there, tweet about anything, because that's the power of growing when you're a small seller, right? Like in the beginning, I know a lot of small sellers have this problem because I've had this problem. I would network to people, but since I didn't have a face, they would give me like 2-word answers.
Yeah.
You know, they wouldn't really reply to me, and that's not on them. That's on me, right? I have nothing to show for it. You know, I mean, I reply personally, but like I know other people, it's not worth their time to reply to a no face or someone who really has no structure to their social media accounts. So I would definitely say have a profile picture, obviously. Tweet about anything, whether it's, I don't know, going to USPS, tweet about it. It doesn't matter. All you need is some traction. All you need is some type of following for people to respond to you, right? Because as I started posting more, I didn't even have to message people. They message me. And then that's how you start relationships. That's how you start, connections. And yeah.
Yeah, different stuff just starts to find you. You start to be just getting notified of random stuff going
Yeah.
on. Nothing hurts with that, man. When you're talking about either the power of, like Mr. Beast talks about this all the time. Either you got to find the information, or you can work with other people that are on the
Right.
same mission. And one of those is way more fun. It's a lot less work, right? And it's a lot more profitable too.
Exactly.
So speaking of that, brother, as we finish up, so super impressed with everything you've done. Where can people go follow you on social media as well?
Yeah, I'm only on Twitter. I'm not really on any other platform, but you can follow me at Dave Trades _ on Twitter.
Yeah, so go check out the boy right there. We're saying get some really good engagement on those more storytelling types of posts. A lot of good stuff coming soon. So we expect to see some updates on the private label and some more big, beautiful orange bars, back to school Q4 right around the corner and such.
Sure.
And if you guys have any questions for Dave or I, definitely let us know down below in the comments. And we'll see y'all in the next one. Thanks a lot for coming on, brother.
All right, peace. Thank you.